Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Odd online dating podcast. I'm your host, Craig Palmer, with my lovely co host, Arena Duhart. Um, she's the real estate mogul, so, and I'm just a lonely domestic violence counselor by trade
I love your
and career
exaggeration.
development. But also, we have a wealth of knowledge in relationships and online dating.
Mhm.
So we're going to get started. Today, we got a juicy topic. And this was actually suggested last week by one of our viewers, which was interracial dating. Is it good? Is it bad? When should you consider interracial dating? Should you consider interracial dating? So, as a
Mhm.
black person, um, you know, I think that people of color, and this is just my male viewpoint, obviously, but I think that sisters are going to start going to the dark side. That's just my opinion. But
Was the
I'll
first
ask.
thing
I'll
I started
ask
going
Arena. What do you think? Do you think the sisters are going to be going to the dark side?
oh, absolutely. Because I mean, those stigmas that are out there about size and posture of black males and their organs.
Hmm.
So yes, I feel like there's a lot of stigmatism out there when it comes to interracial dating. So yes. Little juicy risque topic.
I mean, I kind of think that just from a standpoint of numbers, it seems to me that there, obviously, just in terms of numbers, there are more sisters than brothers. You know what I mean? It's like 11 to 1. So when you factor in that there's a shortage of brothers, and then you take that pie, and if you start dividing up that pie, you have, obviously a portion that's married, right? You have a
Mhm.
portion that's gay, right? Then you got a portion that don't want sisters, right? And then you have a portion that are struggling, living with like three cousins, no
Mhm.
car, bad credit, just things like that, factors that, no career, stuff like that. So it makes it problematic for the sisters. So I just kind of think, just in terms of a numbers standpoint, I kind of think
Is
that,
what you think?
right, like they're going to end up probably, going and seeking out some white guys.
Mm.
That's just, I kind of look at it from that perspective because,
So so I'm a mathematician myself. I'm a numbers girl.
hmm
But I feel like that's not the case. I feel
hmm
like white men pursue black women more than a black woman is going to pursue a white man. And I'm just using, white because that's the
hmm
first thing that comes to our mind when we think interracial, but it can
hmm
be any ethnicity. I just still feel like it's the opposite race that's going to pursue that black
hmm
woman because for so long, a black woman was considered the forbidden fruit. And so
hmm
it's like now either they feel like, oh, it's taboo, I'm going to taste that fruit, or oh, it's more accepting now. So let me get, what I want. But I genuinely feel like a black woman is like every man's fantasy because we're voluptuous, our curves, and you don't think curves and voluptuousness when you think of any other race. If
hmm
I'm being honest, you think
Well,
of
I
a
mean,
Nigerian
Latin women are
woman.
considered, like, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm from New York, so I know you're from Philly, but in New York we have like up uptown, you have like
Mhm.
Little Dominican Republic, and
Yeah,
them chicks, trust me, the brothers, we have no, no disrespect to, the sisters, but them Dominican chicks, man, they be like on
but
point.
that see, let me pause there because I am one of those mixed chicks. I
Hmm.
am Puerto Rican and black,
Hmm.
and but I grew up in a very dark complexion household.
Hmm.
So I got to see the dichotomy that existed. And yes, it's like black women were the forbidden fruit, but the light skinned girls was like You don't touch them, but they weren't. I don't feel like us light skinned girls are as desired as much as the black girls are, the chocolate women, because it
Mm,
was like taboo to be with a chocolate woman, and I feel
mhm.
like there's a lot of chocolate women that feel like they have to compete with us, but we're not trying to compete with you. We're trying to like just be at the table, you know. But
Hmm.
no,
I
I
mean,
feel
I
like
I
it's
I used to kind
chocolate
of think
woman that
light
really,
skin was kind of in. I think it's kind of leveled off. Like I think brothers, we're at a point now where we just want someone really, really good. You know what I mean? Like we're not, you
it was
know,
just a fad. Light skin was considered a fad.
right,
But black will always be the epitome of what a chocolate woman will always be the epitome of a black woman.
and I think, I'm gonna say that maybe the sisters may not be going after the white guys, but the white guys are gonna be coming after the sisters, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because
Absolutely.
for the reasons you just mentioned, and not only that,
It's
but I just think sisters tend to have a little bit of more fire, right? And I'm not saying that all white women don't have a little fire. So I don't want white women saying, "Hey, what are you talking about? I got fire." No, I'm sure there's some white women out there that have fire as well. But
they have
just in talking to guys, and like I think I was telling you earlier, a friend of mine. Well, I haven't seen him in years, but he used to be married to a sister, and
hmm
he swears about white women. He's like, "Yo, get yourself a white chick," right? Because there's just not as much drama involved with a white woman, right? And I asked him, I said, "Well, why do you say that?" Right? Just out of curiosity, I was asking him, why do you say that? And he says, the reason why is because he was married 6 years to a sister, right? And the sister, he said they used to always argue about money, about just a variety of different things, right? And he says, they got divorced and he started dating a white woman, right? And he said they're so different, right? He says when he started dating the white woman, right? When he told her that he was interested in starting his own business, the white woman encouraged him. And he said the sister never encouraged him, right? That was the first thing. The second thing he said was when they used to always argue about money, right? And so when he was dating this white woman, they went to look at an apartment out in Queens, right? And he, was on the other side of the river, right on the other side of the 59th Street Bridge, right? And so they went and looked at an apartment, and the real estate agent told, he asked the real estate agent how much is the apartment, and the real estate agent said $1.2 million, right? And he
Okay.
said, "Oh my God!" He says to his girlfriend, the white woman, "Babe, this is $1 million," and his girlfriend says, "Don't worry about it, I got it." Right. And so that was the second thing. All right. They never argued about money. And lastly, he said, when he told his girlfriend that, he was out there looking for a job and stuff like that, she said, "Don't worry about it. You'll find something," and was really cool about it. And so he says, "You know what? Another woman would have an, attitude because, my wife used to think I wasn't, trying hard enough to find a job." And she said to him, "I know you're trying hard because I know you. And I know that it's difficult for a black man to find a job sometimes because I've been in meetings specifically when white men have specifically not wanted to hire a black person just because they were black, a black man." And so she's like, "I know
Mhm.
that you're going to find hurdles, that's no fault of yours." And when he would tell his wife that, he was out there looking, she just thought he wasn't working hard enough. So, so he had a couple of different arguments about, brothers dating white women exclusively. Um, but,
Okay.
in terms of,
So let me.
hmm
I'm sorry,
no, no, no,
because
go
I'm
ahead.
like I've got my whole outline of everything I'm about to say to you.
Yeah,
But go
please
ahead.
do.
I'm sorry. I was jumping the
No,
gun. Let me
no,
hear
I
you.
want to hear this.
So, for over 20 years, I did diversity recruiting and talent acquisition for companies
hmm
like Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, things of that nature. So when you're doing
hmm
diversity recruiting, you are trying to specifically, target a number. And it is absolutely true that anybody that has any type of diversity, change of color or gender, you're coming
Mhm.
in having to fight extra hard. So yes, that is absolutely true. And so for you to compare a black man being married to a white woman who probably married this black man because she couldn't technically support a white man who was groomed from the time he was born. He was probably even born to cousins because he was supposed to be born into money
Mhm.
because that's how that race was designed to begin with. And so
Mhm.
of course, there's going to be such a dichotomy when you're dealing with a white woman versus a black woman. Yes, she might be a little bit frustrated because she might have been raised by uncles and nephews and, cousins that were literally hitting those streets and, hustling. Whereas a white woman doesn't understand that. So if a black
Mhm.
woman comes to the situation and she doesn't see you trying, yes, it's going to appear like she's trying to be a little bit harder on you. But a
Mhm.
white woman doesn't understand that struggle because a white man was basically bred to be groomed to have a job. His
Mhm.
job was already picked out for him by his parents. So I don't feel like that's the case at all. I feel like, honestly, when it comes to women, because at the end of the day, especially a black woman, we already know we can financially, provide for ourselves. And I'm sorry, I talk fast when I get passionate.
That's quite all right.
We want to that's going to show up in our bed as a man. And so
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like we still have that stigma that a white man might not be the
Mhm.
same size as our black men. But I can
Mhm.
tell you for sure that's not the
Mhm.
case. So I feel like that's more in our heads than anything else, why we don't
Mhm.
pursue a white man, because
Mhm.
your size does kind of equate to how you're going to be able to take care of me in
Mhm.
many different aspects. And at the end of the
Mhm.
day, that's what a black woman wants. We
Mhm.
want security and we want to be taken care of.
Mhm. So
So
you could
that's my PSA
say
for
just say
today.
just say, "I just wanna fuck the real good." That's all. You could say it. That's all.
I can't stand you.
That's all. Keep it real. Say, "I just wanna be fucked real good."
I can't stand you, Mr. Palmer. Stop it.
I've heard women
Oh my
say,
God.
I've heard some sisters say that they don't date white guys. And listen, I don't know. I don't know about guys and stuff like that. But, they talk about how the guy is, I'm assuming his, penis is pink or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what a white guy's penis looks like, but, they say it looks, it don't look right. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Have you seen a white guy's penis? Like
That's
you
not
know.
true either. I've dated every race. I've dated
Uh-huh.
Egyptian. I've dated Italian. I've dated Jewish. I've dated white.
Hmm.
I've done the whole gambit. And let me tell you,
Jesus,
they all
help
look
me,
the same.
Lord. Vaya con Dios.
Except for if they're uncircumcised.
Uh-huh.
It's like that's the only time they look different.
Mhm.
I can't stand you. Have me blushing right now. I hate you so much. Oh my god! Like you literally got me like gulping down this water. Like oh my god! How did interracial dating get to this? I knew it was gonna come down to penis size. I knew.
Well, I mean,
But
like I
so
said, I mean, just from, family members and stuff like that, and knowing people who date, white guys and stuff like that, apparently it doesn't,
right.
it doesn't, doesn't make a difference. I mean, I guess, you know what I mean? Because I think, and not only that, but I think as we get older, we're probably more willing to convert. You know what I mean? Like we're more willing to try other ethnicities if we're not finding
Whoever.
success with the
Yep.
ethnicities that we're pursuing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I've had family members that, dated brothers and stuff like that, and, didn't, weren't, I don't think they were successful in finding a brother that kind of met what they were looking for, because, for instance, and I'm not saying, listen, there are a lot of smart brothers out there, so I don't want to say that brothers aren't smart, but there are guys, a lot of brothers out there that are not cerebral. You know what I mean? Like they're not able to conduct into a lot of intellectual conversation. At least that's what I've been told, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if it's because,
It's
you know,
of circumstances.
exposure, is it the South? I don't know what it is, but just in talking
It's just
to, some of the people, some of the women online, and and we start talking, I could just tell you there are women that I've spoken to, and we were never romantic per se, but they say, man, it's
mm-hmm.
a breath of fresh air to finally have a decent conversation with a brother. And I'm thinking, like, well, what's so difficult about that? And they're like, brothers don't know how to. And I'm not saying these brothers aren't intelligent, but maybe it's the inability to communicate effectively. Maybe that's part of it. You know what I mean, as well. Because a lot of sisters are like, they're just not finding that intellectual conversation, that stimulation that they want. You know what I mean? And that's why you
Mm-hmm.
have women that say they're looking for, they're sapiosexuals and stuff like that because they get turned on by intelligence. And if a brother is like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, what's up? This and, like a woman that's a professional, she don't want to hear that stuff. She wants to have an intellectual conversation with a guy. You know what I mean? Like she wants to be
Mm-hmm.
able to talk about business. She wants to be able to talk about real estate. You know what I mean? She wants to be able to talk about management. Like there was this woman
Mm-hmm.
that I had met. Nothing romantic and nothing like that. But I was in management many years. She's in management, and she was just kind of picking my brain about how to deal with some of her subordinates. And so I gave her some suggestions to maybe motivate some of her teams. And she was like, you're the first guy that I've ever spoken to that I could actually have a conversation about management and get some viable suggestions about how to deal with it. Like all of the brothers that she met online, none of them had been in management before. None of them had any suggestions. She even said that the guys seemed very disinterested in what she was talking about. So I don't know if that's indicative, but nevertheless, I hear it often. Where women are saying they're just not being stimulated mentally.
I would question how she presents herself because I'll give you an example. I was just talking to somebody today about the way, the different types of profile pictures that we have on our websites. On my
Mm-hmm.
profile, all my pictures are like either here and above. I have not one sexy picture of me posted. I do have,
Mm-hmm.
a couple of body pictures, but I'm not posting anything that looks, overly sexy online on my
Right.
profile. And I think that's why I've attracted a number of professionals. I think the way that you present yourself, because you can basically turn on TikTok, you can turn on Instagram, you can turn on YouTube, and you can see boobs and ass in front of your face all day long. But when you can
Mm-hmm.
come and you can see a woman that really cares about herself and she's not trying to present herself that way, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you can attract a professional. I haven't attracted
Mm-hmm.
anybody that I thought was a thug, by
Mm-hmm.
any means. Every man I attracted was very, very
Mm-hmm.
professional. But to go back to what some of the women are saying also too with our black men, it bothers me so much because I have nothing but chocolate brothers. I have nothing but chocolate uncles and nephews and things of that nature. Very,
Right.
very dark ones. And I feel like our black men have had to step up and be husbands to their moms. They've had to step up and be protectors to their moms or their sisters
Mm-hmm.
because they might have had an absent father figure, that it does make them come across a little bit more thuggish because they've always had to be in that protective role. And so they
Mm-hmm.
haven't been able to really be in that role of education and pursuing education for themselves, or our black men have not been raised to
Mm-hmm.
only think about themselves. Our black men have been raised to have to raise everybody else. And so I don't think that it's fair when we kind of,
Mm-hmm.
discount them because they may not be on the same level as us, but because they are kind of thugged out, that's how we were able to get to where we are. So I feel like now that we're where we are, we need to be able to support them. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my one PSA. My second PSA is the fact that I actually have a Caucasian son-in-law,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like 5 years younger than me, and my daughter's
Mm-hmm.
only 24. So there's like, more than a 10-year age difference between the two of
Mm-hmm.
them. It's almost 20 years. It's 15 years between the two of them. I look at their relationship and I'm like, a black man would never let you get away with that. Like, I tell my daughter all the time, like, you better be grateful you married to a white man, because a black man will put you in your place real quick. And I feel like some of our black, and she pursued him. I feel like
Hmm.
our women of color, and my daughter is a mutt. She's
Hmm.
black, Puerto Rican, Italian, she's
Hmm.
French, and she's Irish. She's
Hmm.
everything. My grandsons literally look like they're straight white.
Hmm.
And her husband, he just literally lets her get away with whatever the heck she brings up out of her mouth. And I'm like, girl, if only you knew.
Yep.
Like, you calling the police on your husband, like, you can have him arrested, and they're telling y'all to, sleep it off because you got a white
Mhm.
husband. That would never happen to a black man. He'd be locked up in a heartbeat.
They would
Like,
definitely tell him to go away for a little while.
So I'm like, are women, if they really understood some of the things they can get away with, I think more
Hmm.
black women would be pursuing white men. But my
Hmm.
white son-in-law, I tell him all the time, she needs somebody to stand up to her.
Hmm.
Because the black man would never let you get away with that. And I think that's also too, like, I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I just feel like we don't
Hmm.
really know how docile white men are. And
Hmm.
I think for a strong black woman that's looking for somebody to manipulate and control, get yourself a white man. But a black man not gonna
Yeah,
let you manipulate
listen,
and control.
the white dudes, I mean, and I'm just talking about from white dudes that I've worked with. That most white dudes that I've worked with are non-confrontational, right? So I'm gonna
Exactly.
assume that that's how they are in their relationships as well, right?
Exactly.
And
Yep.
so
Mm-hmm.
in all of the relationships that I've seen with sisters with white dudes, the white dudes act like doormats. You know what I mean? Like they kind of
Absolutely.
like they can say, anything to the white dude, and the white dude is like jump. If you tell the white dude jump, he's like how high, right? Where the brothers are gonna be like, no. Most of the brothers are gonna give you some kind of kickback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, but you also got to kind of remember that once again, like I said, it kind of comes down to the numbers because I think sisters, and it's funny because you see brothers who end up with white women, right? And
Yeah.
the brothers that I've seen in interviews that have ended up with white women have usually met them women in college, right?
You think so?
Yeah, like I mean, the ones that I've seen, they usually meet them in college. Especially if you go to a predominantly white
I was going
college.
to say, only if they don't go to a HBCU, if
Yeah.
they just choose
Um,
to go to. And
yeah.
how many of us are not going to HBCUs? So I feel like that's still a very small number of people.
I mean, most people don't go to HBCUs.
Yes, they do, because you get the most money from an HBCU.
I don't know anybody. I mean, honestly, I think I know one person that went to an HBCU, and and I met
They
that
because
person down here in Savannah
HBCU,
because Savannah State is a HBCU. But other than that, in New York, we ain't got no. Most people don't go to no HBCU.
yes, they do, because that's where they're going to get the most scholarship money from an
Right.
HBCU, unless they're
Well,
in the sports. That we're getting off topic.
no, it's all a factor too. You know what I mean? Because if your environment has if it's multicultural, very mixed, then you're gonna maybe possibly be attracted to that culture. You know what I
Mhm,
mean? Like when I lived in New York, I lived upstate, right?
mhm.
And there were more white people in the school than black people, right? And so I could see, that was obviously my sons were young, very young then, but if we continue to live in that neighborhood, upstate New York, I think my sons probably would have ended up with a white woman because it was predominantly white women that went
Mhm.
to that school. Like they
Mhm.
would have been around a lot of white women in high
I
school and stuff like that.
disagree with you, because have you ever heard the adage that says that water seeks its own level?
No.
It's even scriptural.
Okay, I
water
believe you. No, I haven't heard it.
So water seeks its own level. It's literal. Just like if you ever have a fever, they tell you to put yourself in warm water because it'll bring your temperature down to the temperature it's supposed to be. Water seeks its level. So that's
Mhm.
the quickest way to break a fever.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. You're going to seek the level of the person of who closely matches you. So if that's where your temperament is,
Mm-hmm.
is more designed towards a white person, then that's what you're gonna seek. But if you're truly like a brother to, core and core and a black woman, you're not gonna be booed up with no white person. It all has to do with who you are in the inside. I don't believe it has anything to do with the peer pressure or the environment that we're in. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
seek your own level. You're gonna seek what is
Mm-hmm.
internally inside of you.
You know what? I'm gonna test that theory because I have a friend of mine who's married to a white woman, right? And
Okay.
He's been married to the white woman, I think over 20 years, right? And I'm not going to mention his name because I'm going to reach out to him and I'm going to ask him how did he get with his wife because I don't know how he got with his wife. And she's straight up white woman. Like she ain't like I would be intrigued to find out how they met, right? Because she's a
Mhm.
nurse, um, and he's straight up from the hood. You know what I mean? Like we grew up in Harlem together. So I want to know how he got with her. I'm assuming maybe he
You
met
can
her at
test
school
that
or something.
theory right now. I
Huh?
grew up literally a street over from Bartram Gardens, which was the projects in Philadelphia. I was literally across the street from the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I got bused to college preparatory schools. I had to test to get in every school I got into, from
Mm-hmm.
elementary to high school, to decide if I was able to go to college. By high school, I was in a career preparatory high school. I went to school with nothing but predominantly white people. I'm talking 80-20%. And with the minority being black people, other than white people, the second highest ethnicity was Asian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I went to school with. Ask me how many white people I ever dated in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Even our
Mm-hmm.
basketball team was predominantly white. Ask
Mm-hmm.
me who I dated.
Well, I know
So,
you didn't. I know you wanted a brother because you probably wanted that ghetto ness. You want someone to pull your
no,
hair and all that good stuff.
not in high school. Shut up. No, you know what? And I'm gonna be honest. The first time I ever learned true
Mm-hmm.
chivalry was from a white guy in high school who was trying to date me. He was the captain of the basketball team, and his last name was Zimmerman. I'll never forget it. And he was like, women aren't supposed to walk on the outside of the street because just in case there is a car accident, a man is always supposed to be on the outside. I
Right.
never learned that from anybody before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that, no, I never wanted a ghetto thug guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm around nothing but nerds, like the creme de la creme in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia. I wanted a very intelligent black man. You start talking to me about Edgar Allan Poe, and you start talking to me about
Mm-hmm.
Shakespeare, and you want to go to the theater with me, and then also still listen to some Biggie, we
Mm-hmm.
good. Like,
Okay.
I don't want anybody ghetto, but I wanted somebody that had a head on their shoulders.
Well, that's what
And
I said. I mean, like I said, I think the sisters are finding it challenging to find intellectual brothers. And I'm not saying there aren't any out there, because I'm sure there's plenty of intellectual brothers out there, but they're finding it challenge. Like, it's not a challenge for a brother to find an intellectual woman. I mean, I don't even want to sound crazy when I tell you that they come dime a dozen. Like there's so many accomplished women online. I mean,
nope,
and I get it. I mean, there's some,
nope,
don't get me wrong, there's some chicken
nope,
heads online, but there
nope.
are more accomplished women online. Like it's
No.
crazy.
And
You know.
again, I'm going to pause you. I'm going to get on my high horse for this one
Hmm.
again. There's
Okay.
more accomplished women online because face to face, men get intimidated by us. And so we have to go and look online. But if you look at the music industry, for example,
Hmm.
that is the actual representation of the type of women that exist right now. It's more ratchet, chicken head women that exist than there
Hmm.
are intellectual women. That's why we have to go online. We have to bring ourselves into a circle to actually
Well,
find
that's
something
what I'm talking
worthwhile.
about. I'm
Because
talking
y'all
about
can't hold a
online. I'm talking.
conversation
I ain't talking
person.
about in the neighborhood. I'm talking about online.
Because y'all look at us on in person, and y'all look at the way we walk, y'all look at our pocketbooks we're carrying, y'all looking at our shoes, y'all looking at our cars we drive. I got judged by my effing car. And
Hmm.
men are like, oh well, I can't talk to you because you drive an Audi. Are you kidding me? It's just an Audi. Should I go change it in for a Toyota Sienna because I'm a mom?
Hmm.
Like, no. I feel like Women who are accomplished, we get judged so much more. So we hide behind online dating so that you can get to know our personalities first before you actually see us in person. And then our energy and our frequencies freak you out.
I mean, I could just tell you, and this is just, you know, uh, obviously opinion, but just from seeing profiles, I could just tell you, it seems like every other woman is either a business owner, teacher, or nurse, right? Like, like I said, a lot of sisters are accomplished and very intelligent. You know what I mean? Like great conversation. Now, they may not necessarily be, incredibly sexy. You know what I mean? Like they may not exude sex appeal per se, but you
That
can
was
get very good conversation because sex
it
appeal
was
is
such
something that has to come naturally. And, some women don't have it. I'm sorry.
and that's why we have to hide online because y'all want to see, like you said, how many of these episodes ago, men are ruled by what? Vision, what they can see visually.
We are
So when
visual, right?
you're very
Right.
visual species. So when you see us in person, you get intimidated by us. Whereas when you see them little girls that's got, their breasts hanging out, their booty showing, they twerking, they doing this, that, and the other, it's appealing to your sex, your sexual organ immediately. So they get your attention first. Or even if it's the profiles where they got their boobs all hanging out or they at the
Mhm.
pool or whatever, that's grabbing your attention first. Us, on the other hand, it's like we have to win you over with our personalities first, because if you met us in person, you wouldn't be attracted to us. Then you get to see the sensual and sexy side. It's like you have to earn that side of us, where all the other women, they ready to give that to you first. But for us, you can earn it and then you can keep it.
Mhm. Well, I tend to think that also has to do with what stage you are in your life, right? Because a woman with her titties hanging out, don't get me wrong, it's nice to look at. But is that someone that I want to necessarily settle down with? No. All right. Is it good?
No, but
Is
if
it
you
nice
need
to
a
look
quick,
at? Sure, it's nice to look at. You know what I mean? But I think I'm probably more attracted to a woman who is dressed that understands how to be able to, one, be dressed conservatively, two, be dressed sexy occasionally. And listen, there are times that you want a little sluttiness. No, no, I'm gonna be honest, but overall, you want someone who's gonna be sexy but tasteful, right? More times than not.
be honest, Mr. Palma, those sexy women make it into your reel quicker than a docile woman. Because if you're looking for just a one night stand, you're going to need a higher rotation of women, or at least a higher number of those. So you're going to look at those women and you're going to put them into your rotation quickly. You're going to be like, oh, she's cute. She might be good for a night. Oh, she might be good for a morning. Oh, she might be good for just a, so y'all going to have those,
Well,
y'all going
listen.
to have more of those type of women.
Let me just say, your rotation thing is a little bit different than the brothers, right?
I'm talking
Because
about from a man's rotation. Y'all rotation, y'all gonna keep more people in that, physical lane than we would. So
not at
you
this
know
stage.
that for a
I'm gonna
fact.
be honest with you. I don't keep a rotation at this stage.
I'm not saying it's
Um,
gonna be a lot, but I'm gonna say you might have at least three people in that rotation of, oh, I can just call them for one night, versus having three people in the, oh, there, that's a really good prospect.
you know what? When you get a little older, you try to kind of focus more on one person. Maybe two per se. Um, hold on.
You're trying to act like you're an old man. You are not an old man.
I mean, I'm not old, but you know what? I really listen. I look forward to at that point, hold on, where I can just chill, right? And like just really be with one person and just, put my all into that one person. Not
But
having no
know,
rotation, not having, having to, because
but
I
you're
don't
not
know if you,
typical.
because I
You're
mean,
not
I'm
typical. And
tired of dating. I'll be honest with you. I'm so tired of
I
dating. I mean, I've lost
Mhm.
interest in dating. Like there are
Same.
women that I used to speak to that I'm sure they would tell you that I don't reach out to them. And it's not because they're not attractive, and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm just so tired of dating, right? That
Hmm.
I'm like, at this point, like, I'm just kind of focused on other
But
things.
you need to also recognize the fact that you're different. You are a diamond in the rough, because not only are you successful and attractive, you're also a full-time father. So the way you look at things might be different. Like, I've come across a lot of men in your age group that were successful and no longer married. I think it's also because of the fact that you're a widow. No disrespect, men who've been divorced, men who are, they don't have to take care of their kids full time, that are over
Hmm.
40, 45 years old. They are looking at the opportunity to relive their childhoods, so they want to try, like, literally.
Uh-huh.
They literally, like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out what I want. I was married for so long. It's like
Hmm.
what Cardi B said. What did she say? I've been cuffed up too long. Let me
Hmm.
remind you. Like, I feel
Right.
like that's what some of these men are out here doing. Like, I've been cuffed up too long. I was responsible. I did the right thing. I was a great
Hmm.
dad. I was a great husband. Now I'm ready to just do whatever I want to do. And that's what I
Okay.
come across a lot.
I'm gonna give you that one. I'm gonna have to, because I know a couple of women who were single mothers. They raised their kids, right? And now they're like, I'm gonna call it. I don't want to. I hate to use the word run amok, but they're out there partying and dating and partying and all this other kind of stuff. And you're like, yo,
That's that life.
you're like
Yep.
49 years old. Chill the hell out. And they're out there. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like, they're out there partying and doing all that kind of stuff. Why? Because they
Mhm.
were on lockdown most of their youth. If you had kids at 20, right? Or let's just say 23. Now, let's say your
Mhm.
kid is, 20. Now he's 23. So now you're in your mid 40s, right? And,
Mhm.
some of that time was spent, taking care of the kid and all that kind of stuff. So now, listen, you want to party. You know what I mean? Like, I could just tell you, before I had my daughter, I partied. Like, I didn't settle down in my 20s. I didn't get married in my
Mhm.
20s. I didn't get married until much later in life. So I had an opportunity to go to spring break. I had a chance to attend Freaknik. You know what I mean? I had a
Mhm.
chance to go to
Oh.
Essence Music Festival and things like that
Mhm.
and enjoy myself.
Mhm.
So now, listen, I'm all partied out. Like, you know what?
Oh,
I would not
I'm
go. I
a wife.
mean,
That's my, yep. I don't know how to be a girlfriend. I don't want to be a girlfriend. I've been a wife
mhm,
for too long.
mhm,
I don't want to. I did all that between my two husbands. I got married at 19, had my first
mhm,
daughter at 20. And then when I got
mhm.
divorced, 7 years later, I partied during that time period. So then when I got married again, I love being a wife. So I don't
Uh-huh.
want to do this girlfriend thing. Like, I
Mhm,
want to be a wife again. I love having that person
mhm,
to come home to, or making dinner for you, giving you a drink, no, going shopping and knowing, oh, my husband wants this. Let me hurry
mhm,
up home and make dinner for him. And
mhm.
I love all of that. I love
Hey, listen,
vacations.
you know
I
what?
love
You're always gonna be a wife, because I could just tell you,
absolutely.
guys really appreciate that. They really
Hmm.
appreciate a woman that's gonna cook a meal. They appreciate a woman that can kind of take care of the household. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
listen, there are a lot of women out there who are professional women that either don't want to do that, haven't learned how to do that, or have no interest in doing that. And so, to me, those women are the ones that are going to find it more challenging to find a partner, because ultimately, when it's all said and done, I mean, and listen, you don't need. I don't need a woman to wash my clothes. I don't need a woman to cook. Listen, I do all of that stuff. But it's
But
nice
you
to
like
know.
it.
Yeah, but it's nice to know that your woman wants to do that stuff for you occasionally. You come home and
Mhm.
has a meal waiting for you, and you're like, oh my god, that. Listen, that shit is probably more of a turn on than lingerie. You have a steak for me or lingerie? Listen, give me the T-bone steak.
Let me tell you something. I bought a card for a guy once, and
Hmm.
he like darn near lost his mind. He's like, nobody's ever bought me a card before, and nobody's even ever thought to write a note to me. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? So yeah, you're right. I think we overlook, all the little things that men need as well.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right. And
and let me
I
give
love
you an
cooking for my man.
example.
I love
Like
pouring his
I
bath.
was,
I love
Mhm.
all of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, those little things. Like I'll give you an example. There was this woman I dated once, right, and she gave me some cards, right, and I looked at the
Hmm.
cards, and each card had something different on it, right. So one card said, um, "Sex any way you want it," right. Card you can use it whenever you want, right. And then another
Right?
card said, movie night. We can watch whatever movie you want that night. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
then, the other card said, I'll take you out to dinner wherever you want, tonight or whatever. It was like these really cute cards. And I must admit, I was very touched by it. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? It was just the cutest thing. So, I
Mhm.
mean, women like that know how to cater to a guy, they're always going to be successful. You know what I mean? Of course, the guy has to be attracted to you, don't get me wrong. But those women are always going to be very successful. The women that they're like, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? That they're like, because you listen, you broach, cooking a meal for a dude. There's some women like, I ain't doing that. It's
What?
almost
I
like you
don't understand.
cursed at them, right?
I want to take a page
God,
of the book. I wanna write a book on how to get a husband. like,
listen,
like, what is wrong? What is wrong with
it would
these
be,
women right
you know
now?
what?
Like,
That
I
was a good
don't
segue
understand.
because the book, the good, the bad, and the odd is going to be available tomorrow for purchase. So I'm going to put the link on Instagram, Facebook, you know, TikTok, you name it, it's going to be available tomorrow. If you want to get a signed
Okay.
copy, you can cash app me and I'll send you a signed copy. When you use Cash App, just remember to put in your address as well, so that way I know where to mail the book to. But my Cash App is
Mhm.
really simple, just like my name at the bottom of the screen here. $ Craig Palmer, and just remember to put, your address where I can mail the book if you want an autographed copy. And if you don't want to necessarily want an autographed copy, you just want to read the book or what have you. I'm gonna put the link on Facebook. I'll have the link next week. I'll put the link next week in the chat so people can get it. It's definitely an interesting read. I can assure you. It talks about interracial dating. Because one of the things that I found interesting when I started writing the book was um, like where, because there are websites that are ideally suited for interracial dating now, right? And even on
Hmm.
Facebook,
I didn't.
they have like Facebook has a lot of dating stuff on it now, right? Like I kind of ignore some of the stuff
That
that's
is.
on there, but every other day I see like another group, dating group,
Mhm.
white women looking for black men, and I could just tell
Mhm.
you, uh, be careful out there. There are a lot of scams out there.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I, I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. What the hell? It seems to me like, and everybody's capable probably of getting scammed, but every time I look at a
Oh yeah.
show when they talk about, Matt, you know what? Let me change that for a moment. Because did you know this black celebrity, she got
I,
scammed. You know
oh.
the woman that was in she was in The Brothers. She played the mother in The Brothers. She's like an older woman. I forget her name. She got scammed online dating. She met this dude online and he scammed her. Um I can't think of, I'm gonna remember her. I'm gonna get her name and I'm gonna tell you. But you know what? No, I'm not gonna mention her name. That's all right. But anyway, she got scammed and it seemed like there's this show called American Greed, right? And they were talking about how
Yeah.
these women had got scammed, right? And I could just tell you,
Hmm.
all the women that got scammed were white women, right? They didn't have no sisters. And I'm not saying there aren't any sisters that got scammed as well, but
But
you
our
know.
guards are up a little
Huh?
bit. We're like, we don't trust you.
Yeah, I think sister's a little bit more
Takes a lot.
cautious.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Absolutely.
mean, because every single white
Ab-
woman got scammed, and I'm like, "How?" You know what I mean? How did you fall for the okie doke? So anyway, in my book, I kind of talk about, things to be conscious of to avoid possibly getting scammed. Because technology is
I-
such now, how do you not video chat someone before you
Before you meet
send them
them.
money? How? There's
Oh, wait,
no way.
they were
Like,
sending them money.
yeah, this one lady,
Why?
this white lady sent this dude $15,000. I'm like, what?
No,
Because she
no,
was
sweet.
talking to him
Oh,
for a few
boo.
months,
We don't
and he was like, "I really
listen.
need your help, this and that." And I'm like, "What? Like, you didn't even meet
Mm-mm,
this guy?" I'm like,
mm-mm.
it really boggles the mind. You know what I mean? Like, no. So, in the
Well,
book, I talk
sisters, we
about,
work hard for our money. We ain't giving up our coin. It's
yeah,
like,
at
no.
least not like that. You know what I mean?
We
If
don't work
you
hard.
meet a guy and you've gotten to know him pretty well, and something happens and he needs a couple of dollars, that's fine. But
Right.
to not even meet the dude, never video chatted him, no, 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 and you send
Mm-mm,
him 15,000, it just that's it's crazy as all hell, crazy like
mm.
crazy glue, as we used to say
But
in the
let me
States.
ask you. Let me ask you a question. I was talking to my daughter recently, and then I saw it again on TikTok this morning. I'm like, is this real? Like, people are actually hooking up like off of TikTok and Roblox. I'm like, where is this? So
Roblox.
they're taking online dating to a whole nother level. They're going beyond, the actual, online dating sites. They're going into the chat rooms
Hmm.
on apps now. And they're like hooking up with people
Mm.
and dating them. And I'm like, this is a whole thing now.
Mm. Well, I mean,
I'm like,
there's been chat rooms have been around for like forever. Now,
forever.
Tinder, matter of fact, there's a movie that I just saw the other day. It's called Swipe. Did you see that? You probably haven't seen
Oh,
it. It's called
no.
Swipe. It's
What's
the
that?
story. It's the story about the woman that co-founded Tinder.
Oh,
It's
what is
called.
that on like Netflix or Prime? On?
I saw it on what's the name of that? Because I have a movie
If
channel.
you don't remember,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah. But yeah, it's called
I
Swipe.
actually might have. Okay,
And
so it's called
she was
Swipe.
talking about, some because even on the movie, she met some dudes online. And listen, there are dating sites now that are solely just for hookups. You know what I mean? Like there are some professional women out there that they're not looking for no relationship. They're busy, they got
Oh, it's
money.
called Sway.
Yeah, swiped. Swiped. I
It's
don't know
on
if it's
Hulu and yeah,
yeah, and it's about the woman
Swiped.
that yeah. And she
Yeah,
co-founded and I'm sure there's some exaggerations in the film because they even say that at the beginning of the movie. Some of the accounts
of
are
course.
not genuine, this and that. It's been changed or whatever.
Yeah,
But nevertheless,
they got
you know what I
reviews.
mean? Huh?
I said it got good reviews. It looks like a good movie. I'm sorry, I was looking it up to see what it was on
Hmm.
because I want to see it. It's on Hulu and Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was entertaining. You know what I mean? And if it happened, kind of like it did in the film, it's interesting because she's looking to break into the tech app field and stuff like that, and she
Hmm.
helped one of the guys close a deal, and he was so impressed. He was like, "Yo, I'm going to make you the director of marketing or something like that." After just
Hmm.
one meeting, and she came up with the idea of Tinder, and then initially they didn't like the idea, but she started working on it, and when you see it, you'll see it, it had some interesting things in it. But
Yeah.
yeah. So just getting back to the topic itself, regarding well, if you because I know you're seeing someone, so let's just say the guy doesn't work out or whatever, and a white dude approaches you, you're not giving him a shot.
I mean, until I've signed papers,
Hmm.
all things are lawful.
Okay. Okay. Got you. Got you.
That's not, listen, like I said, I've dated a white man before. I dated a
Uh-huh.
white guy in high school, one white
Uh-huh.
guy. And I had, I dated a white guy, as an adult, but he was he was a firefighter.
Okay.
So all those things were, he was in the
Mm-hmm.
calendar. The
Mm-hmm.
every all the other stigmatisms about what they say about white men, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Not true.
Well, I mean, like I said, most of the sisters that I've spoken to, and I have to give the sisters credit because they're steadfast. They are not, going to the dark side. They're gonna hold out and try to get a brother. So
Mhm.
I more power to the sisters. Hold out, get yourself a brother. There's some brothers out there. You know who Umar Johnson is. You
Who?
know Umar Johnson, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Mm-mm.
So he has a
No.
very interesting take about on interracial dating because he doesn't believe brothers should date white women. But
I
he
feel like
says,
he's feminine.
yeah, he's like this Pan American. He's very interesting to listen to. Like he's on the Breakfast Club sometimes talking about interracial dating and things like that. And
Oh, I've seen on some of those I've seen him on a couple of online dating shows, but yeah, he
hmm
looks very familiar. I just looked him up. Yeah,
hmm
I've heard him
and he's
before.
got an interesting take on it because he says that white women are willing to take brothers when they're not a complete product, right? And I could just tell you, there are women, sisters
Wait,
that I've spoken
who's not
to.
the man or the woman?
The guy's not a complete product, right? And you hear women say, I'm not trying to build a, they say, I'm trying not to build a bear. You know what I mean? Like not trying to build a dude. And the dude, maybe his finances are not in order. Maybe he's not in the best shape. Who knows? You know what I mean? And I kind of feel sometimes behind every great man is a good woman, right? So if you get the right woman, she can motivate you. The right woman can like motivate you to get in shape. The right woman, if she's really good with money, she can teach you how to balance your budget if you don't know how to. You know what I mean? She can help you get your credit straight. But I think there are a lot of women out there that don't want to go through that. And I've heard women say they've done that and the guy left them. I can think of one instance in particular where the woman, she told me, she did that. She helped this guy get his finances in order, get his credit in order. And as soon as he got everything in order, he bounced, you
But there
know.
were other red flags for that. I'm sorry. Again, I'm getting on my high horse tonight. You had me on
Mhm.
my high horse a lot tonight.
I like
A
that.
Christian a Christian woman will recognize that God took Eve out of Adam. She completed him. And so a woman is going to complete the man that she's with. Just period. And
Mhm.
so if you and that's is vice versa. The two of you together should make one whole unit. I never look at it as like what's your weaknesses, what's your strengths, what's my weaknesses, what's my strengths. It's what are my opportunities for development? Where am I lacking? Where are you lacking? How can we always be whole? And that's
Mhm.
how I look at every relationship. And so I just feel like, these women that look at, oh, he's a broken man. No, he's a man that needed a woman to complete him. He's a man that, you know, probably had to grow up too early, or he's a man
Mhm.
that got put in circumstances he never should have been in. And so it's not about fixing men, it's about making sure I can complete that man. And sometimes as Black women, we can go a little bit over and beyond because we know our ability. So we give a little bit more. And so then that's when we start getting a little bit frustrated or whatever. But if we just stay within that boundary and complete that man and not try to overpower him, then you have the ability to have an amazing relationship and an amazing connection because we all know what we can bring to the table. So I don't like that whole perspective of, oh, she got a broken man or whatever. Then you can kick rocks and you can go stay in your own lane and stay away from my Black man. I'm gonna advocate for a Black man all day long.
Well, that's why, Omar Johnson says, excuse me, Umar Johnson says that sisters are missing out on really good dudes because, there are guys out there that are not complete, right? And the woman doesn't want the guy that's not complete. She wants the guy that's complete. He's finished. He's a finished product that, has good credit.
Then that
You know.
means you have nothing to offer. If you want a complete man, then that means you're nothing. You're providing, you're basically saying, I have nothing to bring to the table. I can't do anything for you. And you're basically a user. And he doesn't need you anyway.
Well, no, he needs you.
Not if,
but,
no,
but
not
but
if
but
you
not
feel
for
like
those
you
other
want.
things. You
No,
know.
not if you're saying you already want him to be complete. You're just a user. You don't need that kind of woman. That kind of
Hmm.
woman, you're just going to use her for something and just throw her away. No, if she has the perspective that she wants a complete man, it means that she doesn't want to offer anything to the table. She doesn't want to
Hmm.
bring anything to the table. And she's a selfish individual. And I hate women like that. Like, I have a
Me
very
too.
strong passion towards women who are like that.
No, listen. I completely agree with you. Um, and one of the
You
questions that I
triggered me
always,
like this whole day, Mr. Palmer.
it's funny because
This
one of the
whole
things.
topic was triggering.
No, there's one thing that I always ask women. I always ask them, how would you like your man to bring value to your life? Right? Because the same way, like you just said, right? You want to be able to bring something to the table to kind of complete him and or help him, right? The same thing with a guy. You know what I mean? Like, how can I bring value to you? How can I make you better? How can I assist you? Right? Like, there was this woman I used to talk to, and she owned a bakery, and she told me that her husband never helped her, right? While she owned the bakery. And I just found that to be amazing because, from a male
Insanity.
standpoint, if my partner owned a bakery, I can assure you, I'm going to have my sleeves rolled up helping her at the bakery. If I need to learn how to
Absolutely.
bake a pie or a cake or whatever to help her, that's what I'm going to do. If my woman owned a food truck, I could assure you I'm going to be at that food truck helping out in some way. Like, I don't understand how a guy would be with a woman and not want to help her in some way. Like, if my woman was pursuing a master's or a doctorate or something like that, I'm going to help her study. You know what I mean? Because I want her to do her thing. You want
If
to
my husband
be.
sex 4 to 5 times a day, I'm offering it 6 and 7. Like,
Hold on a sec. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Here, say it again, baby.
the
Say it
husband
again.
comes from work, I'm offering it to you. You whatever. Listen, you said you need what? Like, you need it first thing in the morning. Okay. Like, what? Listen,
And it's
I
funny.
want to make sure
I
the
know my
best.
brother's not watching tonight because if he was watching tonight, he would have gave you some thumbs up too. So I'm gonna have to tell him, listen, you need to catch last night's show.
Oh my God, this is all your fault.
He may come after you.
Oh my God, I forgot your daughter watches.
No, it's quite all right.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. We got to
She
keep this
she
PG going
she's
forward.
grown. She's grown. So I'm gonna have to
But
definitely.
still, when you really love a person, you're going to, whatever they need, you're going to make sure they have it. Bottom line, whether it's support or physical, support, emotional support,
Mhm.
mental support, emotional support, you're going to make sure they have it at the end of the day.
Right. So are we thumbs up about interracial dating or thumbs down?
I'm thumbs.
You
I'm
know what?
like, it all depends on the circumstance. Because
Hmm.
I'm all for my brothers. I'm all for
Hmm.
my brothers. So
So
I'm
you know what?
like,
I'm gonna say thumbs up because
okay,
you know, uh, and this sounds crazy, but love who you love. If someone makes you
right.
happy, if you haven't met someone that, if you don't meet a sister that makes you happy, and there's a white woman out there that's willing to make you happy, by all means, go do your thing. And the same thing with the sisters. If you haven't met a brother out there that makes you happy and you got to go out there and get a, white dude or whatever, I can't be mad at you because ultimately, it's happiness is the most important thing. So whoever you ultimately end up with and they make you happy, I'm all for that. So I don't care if the black is, person is black, white, Chinese, red, green, yellow, whatever. They make you happy, by all means, go enjoy, enjoy
Mhm.
yourself. So I'm all for thumbs up. I mean, do I think, I hope that all the sisters are able to find a brother that makes them happy, of course. But that, if it doesn't happen, I would much rather a sister get with someone that can make them happy, because I believe everyone needs companionship, right? No one should be alone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want anyone out there with like 7 cats, in the house by themselves. Like, no, get yourself a companion and be happy.
Cats. Oh my God, not seven though.
Yeah. So I would let
Mm-mm.
you leave with the last thought. Any thoughts?
I will digress to yours because I think that was very beautifully said.
Okie dokie. So I want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. I see that there was a bunch of folks on YouTube. I guess you guys are not able to comment, but I did see folks watching on YouTube. So I want to thank everybody who watched on YouTube. Please like, subscribe to the channel. Be on the lookout for the book. Put the link in there next week, and it'll be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You're gonna see me everywhere. You're gonna be like, God damn, I'm getting tired of seeing him. So I'm gonna be everywhere. But I want to thank everybody who commented. Thank you, LC. I appreciate it, and have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.